where, just your whole life, they shove this down your throat of what you're supposed to do to be happy. You graduate high school, you go to college for 4 years, you get an internship, you get a decent 9-to-5 job, paying you 40 grand a year, you work your way up, you live, and, eventually you meet a chick and you get engaged, you get married, you buy a house with a white picket fence and a 2-car garage, you have 2.5 kids and your lab dog, and that's what you're supposed to do to be happy. You get your 2 weeks of vacation every year, and you go to the fucking Caribbean or Mexico to an all-inclusive 5-star resort, or you go on some shitty cruise, and that's what's supposed to make you happy. And I think all of that originates from Sears Roebuck. When the Sears Roebuck catalog was in the 50s, 60s, all these World War II vets were coming back from war, and they had their paycheck from the government and nothing really to do. So what did they do? Sears Roebuck started marketing to these people: get married, find yourself a cute chick, buy one of our little pop-up Sears Roebuck houses where they go up in 2 days or whatever, and that's where these subdivisions kind of started coming from. And buy these appliances for your house, the color TV and the microwave and the oven, and the chick buys her fucking hair curlers and all this shit. And you buy all these things from us, and you will be happy. And so they sold, I think, an entire generation on what the definition of happiness is and how to achieve that. And that definitely still lingers to this day. I think it's a significant part of our culture, what you're supposed to do to be happy. And that is jammed down your fucking throat since you're 2 years old via television, internet, media, your teachers, your parents who, were of this generation, all this stuff. It's just sort of, passed down to you. And none of it necessarily is true. It's not, maybe some people are happy by that. And I think I do actually know some people who are happy by all of that. But a lot of people aren't. And there's not really another avenue that's presented to you besides that, hey, you could also maybe do this, or you can maybe do this. Maybe this will make you happy. Like, try this. It's no, you need to be monogamous. You need to have your 2 kids. You need to, work your 9-to-5 job, and hopefully, work your way up at some point. It's all bullshit.
There's a fascinating video. It's a documentary that was made in like the middle 1960s about Webster Grove, which is a town not very far from my house, maybe 15 minutes from my house. And it's fascinating because they go in and they talk to all these high school kids and they say, what is it that you want? Like, what do you dream of? And they're like, I spend all my money on my car. I want to live down the street from where I live right now. I want to have a 2-story house. And it's interesting. The reason that I find it so fascinating is you would never hear a high school kid say that now. Like, no high school kid that's living in the United States above the poverty line would say, I want to live down the street and I want X, Y, Z. And it reminds me of this. There's a philosopher named...
I think that there are some people who would say that. I think that you and I and educated people, especially in cities, wouldn't say that. But if you were to actually talk to people in rural areas, I mean, maybe, I don't know how forthcoming they'd be in admitting that, but most of them are going to end up moving down the street from their parents, living in the same little town. And so whether or not that makes them happy, I don't know, but that is what they end up choosing to do.
Yeah, I misspoke, because I think there's an idea about anywhere people and somewhere people. So anywhere people, they have this idea that I want to go move to the city. I want to be a part of a cosmopolitan life. I'm able to make transactions. If I don't like where I'm at, I can go somewhere else. And there are somewhere people that say, hey, where I'm living isn't that great. It's not that scenic, but this is everyone that I know and everybody that I care about. But I think that our typical like popular culture in high school is very rare to find that. But fair enough.
Sure, I think that it is for sure changing, And I mean, I haven't been in high school for 15 or 20 years, but I think I'm sure it is changing, but there's still some remnant of that, I think, that continues to exist in our culture.
Yeah, and there's this guy named Rene Girard, who's a philosopher, that says, one of the core problems of being a human being is that we don't actually know what we should want. And so what we do as human beings is just like a chimpanzee. We look to see what are the other chimpanzees looking at. We say, oh, that's the highest thing that they can go towards, so I'm going to want that too. But I'm struck by your situation, because if you are able to like break away from this, then you have to be listening to some voice about what it is that is happiness, or what it is that you want. What is that voice that you have that tells you which way to go then?
I think some of it is innate. I think I was, just born who I am. I think also some of it comes from having hippie parents, free thinking, non-traditional parents who never chased the money. They were just, broke their whole lives, and who always instilled a sense of it's better to do the things that you love than the things that make you money. And so that sort of mentality of just following your passion, I think is what led me to where I am, because originally, I just wanted to not be broke like my parents. That was my only real goal in life. And I had no connections. I had no real idea of how to get there. And so my only real successful, male role models in my life that were making money, and who were living kind of the life that I thought that I wanted to live, were my two uncles, my dad's brother and my mom's brother. My dad's brother is a cardiologist, lifetime of school and fucking kissing ass and studying and just, that whole deal, which was like totally not my path. There was like, I fucking hated school. I was like trying to, fight my way through 4 years of college over a period of like 8 or 10 years. I mean, it was just not the way that I wanted to learn things. So going to school for another however many years to be a doctor was just like out of the question. So that was like, okay, no. My mother's brother was a business consultant. So that was a little bit more of an attainable path for me. And I was always interested in business, and I saw business equating to challenges and freedom and, making some money and some success and networking, that kind of thing. So his path was got his business degree, got his master's in business in Kellogg School in Chicago or whatever, got a job in a consulting firm, worked his way up, eventually made partner, started his own firm, started making whatever, at least a few $100,000 a year, got a wife, kids, like had a dope setup, the nice house in the suburbs with the Beamer and the hot wife and the 2 kids. And I was like, okay, that's pretty good. Like maybe I can do that. So my general path in life until I had started my company was trying to fight my way through college. And then at the time I wasn't accepted to the business school in Boulder. So I was technically an art major, business minor. They wouldn't let me into business school because my grades weren't good enough or whatever. And so my plan was to graduate with an art degree and then maybe try to get like a master's in business at some point. In the meantime, I was following my dream in life, which was to be a pro skier. And I knew I was never going to make any money doing it, but it was like a dream come true. I was traveling around the world on somebody else's dime, going to all these incredible places, making really amazing friends. And, I was in great shape. I was skiing all over the world. I was pushing myself. I was learning things. It was great. I was also helping with marketing. I was taking photos. I was, shooting video, editing video. So I was able to kind of, express myself creatively while also, making a very shitty living.
Thanks for checking out this podcast short. If you like this interview, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and hit that bell so you always get notified about this podcast. And if you're really interested in conversations like this, you may want to consider joining the Articulate Ventures Network. To find out more, go to network.articulate.ventures.